Good morning. Welcome to Phoenix Trading Strategies. Today is August 3rd, 2015. It is 9:02 a.m. Eastern Time. Welcome to Phoenix Trading Strategies, where strategic knowledge and information allows you to trade successfully. For those of you that are back, welcome back. For those of you that are here for the first time, welcome. Let us go to the disclaimer before we go to the calendar and the charts. Disclaimer. Future stocks and spot currency trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept them in order to invest in future stocks and forex markets. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. This website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy and sell future stocks or forex. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed on this website. Past performance of indicators or methodology are not necessarily indicative of future results. Being that said and done, let us take a look at the calendar. Not much today, actually. There's quite a bit of news for the year, but it was all based on what was happening with the Greek markets opening again. None of these numbers really affected at all. You had manufacturing PMI for the UK, bank holiday for Canada. Lucky them. Quite a few numbers that came out here for the US. Core PCE price index came in as expected. Personal spending came in as expected. Personal income came in as expected. And now we're looking for PMI numbers within the next 40 minutes. And ISM manufacturing PMI. China came in with really bad numbers. They're having a bad moment. It's going to get really, really nasty really quickly. But the markets are reflecting it. So let's take a look at the markets real quickly. Let us go there. And as you can see, the euro did nothing. You couldn't find a trade in this one at all. It was ridiculous. And most of the currencies reflect that, most of the majors at least. So it'll be interesting to see how the outlying pairs play out. But there was nothing. I mean, you couldn't kick someone to move the market from this perspective. Dow hasn't done much. Crude continues a downward spiral. Had a nice signal on the 15-minute overnight, and this one came in at 9 p.m. Your entry was actually 9 p.m. Pacific, which is midnight Eastern. This one came in at around 9:45, which is 12:45 a.m. in the morning, is where your entry would have been on the fourth or fifth candle. And it went from 48.83 all the way down to 46, no, 40, yeah, 46, no, 47, no, 46.83 to 46.10. That's not bad, not a bad move. It seems like they're Iranians are really wanting to accelerate their process to bring in their crude into the market, and that's gonna make an impact on the market. Based on what I see, I think we could possibly hit 38 a barrel, which would be very, very nasty for the oil industry. So it'll be interesting to watch. But there is it a bearish market? Make no mistake, a bearish market of the worst kind. Let's take a look at the Dow. The Dow hasn't really done anything. I mean, with the news overnight, went up, came back down. It is still down for the day, but no real trade. Impossible to trade this. And I'm afraid that we're going to be looking at quite a few markets like this as well. S&P announced did go long, but then it came right back down. Really not, inconsistency is what we're seeing in the market. And it's not a lack of liquidity. It's they don't know how to move. Then NQ, NASDAQ, also same thing. Nothing. Wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. This may be the shortest session we've ever had based on the market. This is the DAX. And this one you had a nice signal at the open. It did go long, went long, Came back down, not as much, but still maintained a very nice bullish run. So it will be interesting to see. Let's see what the treasury bonds. Seems there's a rumor that everyone's buying treasury bonds, and guess what? It ain't no lie. It announced a long position at the end of the day. At the open, this one came out, and this was at around, okay, so this is 14:35. So this is about 6 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and your trigger on this one was at around 11, which is 2 a.m. in the morning to go long on this. Not a big move. Let's call it for what it is. This thing went from 156.06 to 156.17. It's hardly anything at all. But you did get a signal, and the rumor is still strong. Whoa, what is this? Got too many of these things going wild here. Gold made a nice move. It is in play. I didn't change the symbol. It is going down, actually. I'm not going to change the symbol. It already went down. And it is trading around 1088. So this is not a good move for gold. It shows the lack of liquidity in the market for gold, but it's still bearish. I think it's still a bearish trade on that one. Can't really call it for anything else. I think gold will come down pretty significantly. Actually, no. And let's go back to the DAX. That's a good question, actually, because this move, if you would have gotten in here, 11,277. This came down to 11,260. So 252, actually, if you really want to call it. 20 ticks. Yeah, you could have gotten stopped out on this one. But here's the thing even though we look for entries on the fourth or fifth, we didn't get a fourth or fifth dot here. So realistically, this would not really have been an entry for us regardless, because it just didn't reflect that. We're looking for a little bit more consolidation in the market, not this type of, disparity of a movement. This wasn't an organized movement. Plus, out the gate, a little bit difficult to call. I think if anything, anyone would have looked for an entry here. This one would have been a little tough, quite honestly. Even though you would have gotten the signal, at 11,277.5, for it to go down to 11,254, 11,257 would have been the 20 tick target. You could have gotten stopped out. You're right. The possibility was there. I don't think I would have taken this trade. Number one, I don't trade on Sunday afternoons. I would have missed it. And for those that would have been watching, yeah, it would have been somewhat questionable. Let's see what silver's doing. Silver's going down. This, nice signal, actually. Entry would have been on the fourth candle here. No stop loss here. They would have never triggered the stop. You had a re-entry here at around, let's see, yeah, this was about midnight Eastern. Yeah, about 12:15. You would have had another entry here at 1472, and it did come down to 1463. Now it's back up to 1467. So yeah, it would have been a decent trade. Nothing extravagant. Again, nothing really happened overnight, which was something very, very disturbing for many that actually spent the night looking at it. This one is Platinum, and Platinum made a really nice move, and you had the signal here actually. This thing is on the 15 minute. This kicked in at around midnight or 8. Yeah, it's close to midnight. Your entry was actually here. This is 21. So this is about. No, this was midnight actually. This was 11 when it kicked in, 11 p.m. Eastern. Your entry was here at 12:45 a.m. Eastern in the morning, and this thing moved. I mean, 984.5 all the way down to 974. That's a $10 drop. That's a pretty aggressive. I like platinum. Platinum is moving very aggressive, and I like aluminum. Aluminum is another monster. But don't expect much on the currencies because right now they're not doing anything. But let's look at the outlying pairs. This is the New Zealand yen. You had a signal here. It did come down, fulfilled its cycle. Not a big move. 81.83, 81.62, 20 pips, and then it came right back up. Like I said, it was a really strange night. Look at the New Zealand dollar. Didn't move at all. It's like everyone is really just waiting. They don't know what to do, and that's okay. This one was a nice clean signal here, and that was two, that was one. This was about midnight actually. The trigger was here at 1 a.m. Eastern. Shorted at 70.28. Came down to 70.11. Not a big move. Like I said, there were no moves. Trades were really, really light. Aussie yen made a decent move. Probably one of the only ones. This was at 2:30 in the morning my time, which is 5:30 in the morning a.m. Your trigger was here at 6 a.m., which is 3 a.m. Eastern. 90.56 came down to 90.27. Not a big move. Like I said, there weren't big moves. It is very, very disappointing to see. I actually woke up in the middle of the night to see what was going on. I didn't see anything, and I said, oh, I'm going back to bed. I'm not going to lose sleep over this. No signal here on the Aussie dollar. This one is the Euro Yen, and you can see nothing. I mean, it's in bloody congestion. From 136 and a quarter to 135.95. Not even 30 pips. I mean, there was just nothing to look at. This was very, very, very disappointing. The euro, I mean, it didn't move at all. You just couldn't kick someone to move this thing. I mean, it told you when it goes short, and it went short. You could have picked up maybe from here at 109.82 to come down to 109.58, 25 pips. I think, if anything, we were getting signals and everyone else was not getting anything. No trade here on the Aussie Swiss. I would not have touched that. Pound dollar. Had a long, and it did go long. It traded at this weekly level. Remember, this line right here represents power dots on the higher time frame on the weekly level, and we've talked about this. That this one was. We looked at this one actually on Friday, and we said what would happen if they broke below the level, and it did. It came down like a stone. This one, but there was no signal here to trade it. I would not have traded it. 76 pips was the total move on this one, on the pound dollar. And there's a rumor that they want to exit the European Union. Ooh, that's what did it. New Zealand CAD, no signal. Would not have traded that one. Euro Aussie. This one did come down, fulfilled, came back up, came down. You had a re-entry here to go long. This was 1:30 in the morning, which is 4:30 a.m. Your entry would have been here actually at 5:30 a.m. and it moved from 150.34 to 150.81. Not bad, you know, a 45 pip move, decent trade. The Euro Aussie. I like the Euro Aussie. It's always a player. Euro New Zealand announced a short, very nice, clean short. This one was, let's see, that is 2, 3. This was at 4 p.m. my time. So this is 5 p.m. actually. My time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Your trigger was after the fifth power dot to go short. And it did go short. Could have gotten in here on the 6th one. From 166.67 all the way to 166.03. That's not a bad trade. That's a very decent trade actually. This was a cleaner trade than the Euro Aussie. Euro Swissy, let's see. Didn't announce long, and it did go long, but not a lot. 150.96 to 106.17. Not a big move. 20 pips, if that. You would have only picked up maybe 15 out of it. The pound Aussie went long. Nice, clean. This one came in at around 7 p.m. my time, which is 10 p.m. Eastern time. Your entry was here on the 4th one at 2:13.85 to 2:14.64. Well, let's measure that one. So this one moved from here. An 82 pip move. Wow. Very respectable. Very few instruments moved. US CAD out the gate just lost itself, but no signal. We have a signal here, but I would not touch this right now. I would need it more up here. Normally when we get a dot here, it means that they're going to come down, but right now there isn't anything. US Swissy did go long, but like I said, it's just not, the markets just aren't doing anything. The US yen, a tricky little one because it came out, did go short, fulfilled towards the end of the day, and then it went long. This would have been a tricky one because even though it went long out the gate, as soon as it broke above, and you probably would not have traded this one to the short just because of the way that it was going, because you would have waited for it to consolidate and come down. This would not have been a clean signal to go short. It actually would have been one of those which I call a mid-range. It looks clean to the downside, but no, the signal was in this case inverted because they used the trend stop as a support level in this mid-range level. Normally, this mid-range level 123.79 here reflects a inconsistent support or resistance level. They'll use it as a support and they will use it as a resistance level, but it's not one that one can rely on. This is one of those that would not have worked. Like the one before the Euro Swiss. Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Question, hold on. No, we do not get out when the power dots manifest on the opposite side. In this case, it was a lack of liquidity and movement in the market. Let's take a look at the Euro Swiss because you were asking a question about the Euro Swiss. Yeah, see this one played out, but it again wasn't one that out the gate, they used it as a resistance level, came back down, but they never broke through, and then they pulled up again. Because of how long it went, they were never really going to break through it, and normally when this happens, usually this is a very strong support level. Here, for instance, it repeated itself and it did go long again. The only question is that from this point, looks like a long trade, but because of the lack of liquidity in the market, I wouldn't really touch this right now, quite honestly. It just doesn't seem um, that it would do anything. See the pound New Zealand. There was a trade at the open. Did go long. Nothing extravagant. Came back down. This did fulfill the cycle, and it did it twice. However, they used the trend stop as a resistance level and came back down. And you had a lot of pivots here. I mean, this was just ridiculous. There was no long trade here, and it was the lack of liquidity. I mean, they are just really just not happy campers. EuroCAD, nice trade, very nice signal at the open. You could have gotten in at 4 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern time. Not a big trade. Again, there weren't big trades here. That's the one thing. 80 pips. Whoa, nice move. Nice move. See, the pound CAD also did another move as well, very similar. Again, it's just incredible, but no signal here though. There wasn't signal in the 15-minute. However, they did break above this previous level, which was a 120-minute level to go long. But I would have preferred a signal here, and we didn't get one. And let us look, continue. Pound yen. Nice signal. Nice signal at the beginning of the day. You had a re-entry here on this one, and this was at 7:15, which is 10:15 p.m. Eastern. Did go long from 193.62 all the way to 94.18. Nice trade. Pound yen would have been a player last night. Would have been one of the very few 56 pips. And then it came down, of course. And this was at about 1:34 a.m., which was the last move up, and then they pulled right back down. Would not have taken the short, but the long trade was good because you had a signal here and a signal here, and you had 3 levels. It was just, really nice, really clean from that perspective. The pair before the Euro Swiss. That's the one you were looking for. Let's take a look at that. Pair before the Euro Swiss. Oh, the Euro New Zealand. Yeah, this was, I would not really have relied on this signal. This was the trade that I would have taken short, but as soon as I came back, it would have been out. There was really, like I said, hardly no trade on this thing. But no, we would not have gotten out as soon as it hit the power dots here, because it was already coming down. This is just a level that came out, which was more of a mid-range level. The original trade was really to the short. This just announced they were going to continue to the downside even further. Not really a reliable trade though. I don't think I would have taken it. No. So yes, very difficult night for people to trade, quite honestly. Anyone that was looking for trades didn't really get anything. I mean, we're looking for something and we're not seeing anything right now. Numbers just came out right now. ISM numbers, and you have power dot forming here. We'd still need another 4 to form before actually, finding a trade. And remember, because this is a mid-range level at 10 at 109.50, if it did come down, it would come down to 109.10. So not a big move if anyone's expecting a move. I'm not expecting anything. I'm thinking that because of what happened in China and in Greece, everyone's holding back right now. They're saying, no, let the central banks move the market. So really don't have anything. I tell you to wait for the afternoon. I don't even see you know, the ES doing much. I mean, it just hasn't done anything at all. This, in fact, is probably the most disappointing trading day of the year that we've seen. So I can't really suggest that you trade the markets right now. It's just too illiquid. Lack of liquidity is doing this right now. Everyone's just standing on the sidelines. So don't really have much more to share with you guys. I mean, we've looked at the charts and we can look at the higher time frames, which I think would be very beneficial. Let's do that. Let's look at the higher time frames. See if we have anything on the daily setting up. Let's see. Nothing here. However, they are bouncing off of this level, which is 7. So we could see a long movement, but not yet. I'm not too keen on going long on the IM. Did have a short announcement, this one, days back. And this is the daily, of course, but nothing here. And Q. Ooh, we have a nice support level here. Okay. So this one's telling us that there could be a long trade to the upside. Now remember that whatever you see in the higher time frames reflects in the shorter time frames. So this one is setting up to go long, and they've been setting up for a while. They have gone long. We'll see at the close of today what happens here. If this candle closes above, maintains above 45.68.5, then tomorrow or tonight, actually, this thing should explode to the upside. See the DAX, see if that one has anything. DAX did go long from this point. It did identify here. We did draw a line, and it did move. Let's see this one's just been going, and has not stopped. The 30-year Treasury bond. Nothing on gold. I mean, it broke through this level. Here it broke through a weekly level and came down. I'm still bearish on gold. I do not expect gold to do anything else except maintain a bearish state. Pound yen. Okay. We're here. If we do not break above 193.97, and this is a 240-minute level supported by this, then we're short. So we need to wait for tonight actually to see, because there's been, as you can see, a lot of resistance here. They come at it and then they come right back down. So we could see a good short trade on this one. The yen could get stronger and we could see a nice drop. And this is on the daily, so what happens on the daily is very significant because it usually runs for at least 2-3 days. This could be a long-term trade to look for. Pound yen is definitely a player. If it breaks below 190, 193.39, short it. It looks like a good short. Pound CAD, nothing. Euro CAD, nothing. Pound New Zealand, nothing. US yen, right here, baby. Here is the trigger. So if it doesn't break above 124.34, the next trade, and you have more power dots up here on a weekly level. This is a daily level as well, forgive me. Then, and you have this one form here. Looks like everyone's going to jump on the yen and short it. You got a pivot here on the daily, so we'll see how this one plays out. Tonight should be very interesting for the yen. Very, very interesting for the yen. Nothing on the US Swissy, nothing on the CAD. Pound Aussie, nope. Seems like the yen pairs are in play. Pound yen and US yen. Nothing here on the Euro New Zealand. Nothing on the Euro Aussie. New Zealand CAD. Yes, New Zealand CAD. Okay. we're going to definitely be watching this one. At 86.91, New Zealand CAD looks like if it does not break above this, if it breaks above this, then it will come to 88.37, and that'll be a 200 over 200 pip move because looks like they're filling this gap, but very questionable. So look for the New Zealand CAD at 86.95 to go short. See what happens around that later on tonight. Since nothing moved today, tonight may be the game changer. Now the pound dollar is short already, and it's shorted from this weekly level, but we don't have any power dots. So not really a long-term trade, but anytime they mess with a weekly level, very dangerous for them. Swissy, nothing. CAD, nothing. US CAD, Pound Aussie, nothing. Euro Swissy, nothing. Euro New Zealand, nothing. Euro Aussie, nothing. New Zealand CAD, like that New Zealand CAD, yeah, Just like the US CAD, looks like it's gonna play. Definitely ones to watch. Pound dollar, nothing. Silver, nothing. Platinum, nothing. Still short. Platinum still short. Euro dollar, okay. 720. The play is to the downside. It has come down. The fact that it's still forming dots up here tells us that if they do not do anything around this price level, which is 109.74, then they're coming down. And if they break through this, they're really coming down to 108.24. So this is going to be one to watch later on this afternoon and tonight. Swissy, no. Aussie, Swissy, Euro, Yen. No, I wouldn't touch the Euro Yen. Don't have a signal. The pound yen had it. The US yen had it. If you don't have a signal, you do not trade it. It's not a long-term trade. Don't touch it. You're going to get hurt. Swiss yen, no signal on the daily. Euro pound. We're still short. So we'll see what happens here. If this thing comes up to 70.56, or if it attempts to go to 71.03, which would be a 70 pip move. This is a daily level as well. So this is a support level, but they would use it as a resistance level. We'll see how it plays out. It looks like there's another short trade in play for this, but not yet. Not yet. New Zealand yen, no. Then finally crude on the daily, still short, still bearish. So no. We found a few ones that look to set up for tonight. But right now, nothing really reliable that we can go off of. No real trades at this point. Crude still going down. This thing is not going to let up. Especially with Iran's oil coming into the market, it could be very, very dangerous for the industry. So definitely something to watch. The Dow's barely down 8, 12 points, hardly nothing. 14, 15 points. Yeah, it's not really doing much. Like I said, I wouldn't touch the E-minis right now. Just not no real good signals on these things at this point. Everything's just a little light. If we don't have a signal, we don't trade. And right now we don't have any signals, so there are no trades. So as much as sometimes the best trade is not to be in a trade, and in this case, that's what the market reflects. No real signal, no trade. And that was a drastic move on that on the Dow right here. I mean, this one didn't really have much warning. Look at that. It went up and then it just sucked it to everyone to the downside. Very, very, very unclean the way this trade played out. So no, nothing really to look at right now. Like I said, sometimes the trade is not to be in a trade, and this morning looks to be that way. So I wish I could share more with you guys, but there really isn't much more to share. I think at this point, we just want to stay on the sidelines, let them play out, and then we'll see this afternoon. What didn't happen today will happen this afternoon. That's for sure. You won't be disappointed in that regard. So, and we found a few trades on the daily that look to play out later on this afternoon. And if the signals are there, they will be clean. So that's it for today, guys. Sorry, there's not much that we can do unless you have any other questions. Yeah, we can look at the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar again. Let's see, Aussie. This one is moving along, but you have a signal here saying short. It's too far from it, so I would not rely on a short trade at this point. Again, I don't expect this thing to make a tremendous move to the upside. It's got to break through this pivot here at 72.91. If it doesn't, it comes back down. And if it breaks above that one, 72.98. So basically, say 7,300 is where it's going to receive a lot of resistance. I just don't see any momentum coming in to drive that thing. This thing has been bearish. The fact that this thing is forming here after these three levels and it's forming here as this level, as this previous level, to me it signifies that it is at this point a strong resistance level. 73.11 if they get there, if they're lucky, which I don't see it happening right now. Not really a good trade to really be in at this point. The New Zealand dollar, where is here? This one, signals to go along. We looked at this one earlier. The lack of liquidity is what I'm fearing at this point. This one's on the move, but, I just have my doubts about this one. I'd say if you're going to trade with caution. Looks like it could be the trade of the morning, this one, but it already initiated, and I don't like to follow trades at this point. So I leave it at your discretion. But it's a nice clean signal, though. I have to admit, they did play a nice clean signal on this one. On the 10-minute. So, yeah, that's pretty much all we have for today, guys. Sorry that the market's just disappointing, but you know what? Sometimes that's just the way the market plays. You can't get them all. Remember, there's always the next day. There's always the next trade. This night, just very few trades that actually made sense to even take on. So unless there are any questions, I think we'll call it a morning. A very disappointing morning. And we will see you. We will see you Friday. And for those of you that are registered for the European session, we will see you Thursday morning, 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for joining us here at Phoenix Trading Strategies. Have a great one. Bye-bye.